So when it comes to treatment for anxiety, there's two effective approaches to take. One is more of a standard cognitive behavioral therapy approach, where what we're trying to do here is challenge these thoughts that are anxiety provoking. Is it true that people are going to respond poorly? Is it true that if you go out of your house, something bad will happen? Is it true that you're having a heart attack? It can really get as extreme as that. People fearing, and oh my gosh, I can't breathe so easily. Feeling dizzy, I have a pain in my chest. Is this it? Am I going to die? And so there's a lot of reality testing in CBT in order to challenge these thoughts and root a person more in their experience as opposed to the thoughts. Because you have people coming in that they've had 13 different ambulance calls and none of them have been a heart attack. And that makes it even worse, is you really feel vulnerable and you feel like this is it, and then there's the ambulance guys or the doctor kind of laughing or getting so anxious that people actually get queasy in public. These things build, and so it's a matter of having to challenge the thoughts, challenge the repetitive worries, and reality test that no, you're not dying. No, people really, chances are, aren't really thinking about you all that much. That is a way out of anxiety. Another approach that I really like is something called ACT, acceptance and commitment therapy, where instead of trying to get rid of anxiety, there's more of an emphasis of learning how to be with it. And it's really kind of counterintuitive because, in this approach, the more that we accept in anxiety in our life, that we're not in this sort of defeatist attitude, but in this wanting to really experience and explore the sensation, more mindful of it in many ways, well, it all of a sudden starts to go away. And even if it doesn't, what ACT's main focus is not letting things like anxiety get in the way of a meaningful life. Oftentimes, no matter what problem you have, anxiety, depression, no matter what it is, there's the feeling of anxiety, and that's rotten. No one wants that. But 9 times out of 10, the most painful part of any sort of mental health issue isn't the issue itself, but it's really how it takes you out of your life. And so what ACT is trying to do is say, okay, well, maybe we're just going to have to learn how to accept this feeling. But we don't have to let it govern how we're committed to the meaning that we have in our life. We don't have to let it get in the way of pursuing hopes and dreams. Let's learn how to do that. Let's learn how to push forward despite having that feeling. And like I said, it's usually the case that even when you're not trying to get rid of anxiety, it actually starts going away. Because fundamentally, whether you're going to take a CBT approach or an ACT approach, or even sometimes, rarely, but still can be effective, I like taking a psychodynamic approach. In either approach you're going to take here, the common denominator is anxiety is really taken out of your life. It's making you second guess being in the world. Whether it's you're getting too stuck in thoughts from a CBT approach, whether through an ACT approach, you're too stuck in your internal world as opposed to being active in your external world, or whether from a psychodynamic approach where you're stuck pushing away feelings and not really paying attention to them, and that just kind of keeps you in this feedback loop of anxiety. No matter what approach you're taking, ultimately anxiety is just a real sticky thing to deal with, and it's taking you out of your life, and that the number one priority is to get back in that life and get back in that meaning that makes it all worthwhile. So in a sense, whatever treatment that might be best for you, the main goal is being bigger than the problem, and not necessarily getting rid of the problem itself. And just by realizing that you're bigger than what you thought you were, that problem does go away.